Hi guys, Sean here with EyeOpener boxes, and I want to give you a sneak preview of our upcoming black box game. It's going to be our first EyeOpener box that has electronics in it, and we're super excited about it. So here's the backstory. The players get this message when they start. A surveillance aircraft was stolen by a terrorist. Field agents managed to shoot the plane down, but not before the terrorists reprogrammed the flight data recorder to transmit sensitive information back to their cell, and then they locked the FDR. So the players have the FDR in front of them. They have to hack into it and stop it from transmitting its data. So the outside of the game, like the other two, like Biohazard and To Be a Thief, will have a padlock of some kind. Once they get inside, then we're going to have these electronic components. Of course, this will all be positioned inside the voting booth, and I'll show you guys where we're going to do that in just a little bit. When they come in, they've got a thing that says the system is paused, so we press any key. Got an initialization cycle. Honestly, there's nothing going on. This is just storyline and tension building for the players. You can adjust the volume of that sound. It's really loud right now. All right, so systems are online, and it's going to transmit data in 20 minutes. Let's just abort that. So now the players have basically 5 games that they play on the screen, plus a separate one up here we'll come to in a minute. They've got to determine the pilot ID, the tail number, the mission number, the mission time, and the abort code. The first couple, the pilot ID and the tail number and mission number, depending on where you put the pieces in the box, they can be interrelated. To do the pilot ID, the first thing you've got to do is you've got to play this game up here, and it's going to be labeled query response, but really it's Simon. So if it's flashing green, you would think you're supposed to push green, but you're not. You have to get a translation table. Once you solve the Simon, then there's a card scanner, which is on the side of this box, but it'll be more prominent in the voting booth. That light will turn green and turn on the card scanner, and then you have to have the card. So to get the pilot ID, you've got to do Simon, you need the translation table for the colors, and you've got to get the pilot ID card. So the way you get those is you're going to solve the other guys. The tail number, the way that you solve the tail number, one of the side panels will have this list of tail numbers. And I guess they could brute force it and try every one, but that would probably take more than the 20 minutes that they've got. So around on the decorations are going to be these 5 rules that do with the tail numbers. So there's no D. No tail number should have a D in it. So anything on this list with a D, you can just rule right out. Any aircraft that start with a number are grounded. So anything that starts with a number, you can rule it out. So you follow these 5 rules and you'll end up with one number that meets all the criteria. You key that number in and a door is going to open. And inside the door, what there will be is a color translation table or a authentication pattern query response. So when it's querying me green up here, that means I'm supposed to push yellow. So there you go, I got yellow. So now it's querying me green, yellow. So I need to push, let's see, yellow, red. There you go. And so you do that. Right now it's set to do 5 rounds of Simon. That's a number you can adjust as the owner of this. There's a couple configurations you can do, and you do them all using the keypad here. But if you do 5 rounds of Simon, this light will come on. Now, you could also put the ID card in with this if you want. It's up to you. Or you could make them have to do also the mission number. The way that you solve the mission number is that players are going to have a stack of overhead transparencies, and they need to line them all up. So here they are. They just line up this mission details box and then hold these up to a light, and you can read through them CD pound 001 and so on. When I show you the box layout, I think we're going to have a light panel on the side of the box to help light these up. That is your mission number. So that's how you solve the first 3. On the other page, the mission time. Now this one people are going to overthink, but all you have to do is type in this time over here. Now, of course, this is changing every second. So what you've got to do is lead it a little bit. So right now you might type 1620 and then wait until it has 20 and then push the star. In playtesting, everybody figured it out. It took them a time or two, but they did figure it out. Each puzzle they solve, a door is going to open. And one of the things that they're going to get as these doors open is this little thing called an I button. And it goes on this reader right here. But until they solve numbers 1 through 4, the reader's not active. Once they've solved 1 through 4, this reader becomes active. And they can touch these on here. And what that'll do is it'll make one of these lights, which will have turned green by now. Each puzzle turns a light green. And so it'll make one of them flash so that you know, okay, red is the 3rd digit and yellow is the 4th digit and so on. And then what they have to do is refer back to this. And in these hollow boxes, very suspicious, is going to be black light writing. So they'll get a black light flashlight in one of the doors. And in here, if red is the 3rd digit and red's got a 3 in it, and it'll be 3 in both places so that they don't have to figure out which column, but if red is 3, they got all 5 digits of the final code, and that is what the abort code is. Once they enter the abort code, they win. It plays a little song for them, has a little background noise. Now, this game has a countdown timer, so if they don't solve it by the time this runs out, they have to stop playing it. It goes into a transmitting data mode, and then they lose. So they can try again. You can adjust the play time. You can give them more or less time depending on how hard you want to make it. The whole thing's powered by USB. I've got it plugged into this giant battery. It doesn't have to be this big, but this is just what I carry around. So you can plug it into a USB battery. So you can still be fully portable. You don't need power, or you can plug it into a USB wall adapter, whatever one is best for you. It'll run for a long time off a battery this big. It'll run on a small battery too. When we do the specs for it, we will include how long it will run based on the number of amp hours that you put in your battery. So next I'll show you the layout of how we think we're going to put this into the voting booth, and then we'll share updates as we go. All right, and here we are at the voting booth, and this is just how we start to brainstorm the layout here. You can see I haven't even cleaned out this voting booth yet. It still says voting instructions in the back. So what we're thinking is, if you're used to Biohazard and Thief, you know there's usually one door here and one door here. This one's going to have 2 doors on one side and probably 3 on the other. So we've got 5 doors, 1 to go with each one of those puzzles. The keypad and the large LCD here that the players interact with the most. The little one up here for a nice timer and to pull the lid in. This is the RFID card reader. It'll be under the plastic, but we'll engrave or put something embossed right here that says RFID reader. And then this is the light that'll be red or green. Probably put the I button somewhere back here. And then these will be the lock indicators that turn green when you solve each puzzle. And what happens, these will be numbered 1 through 5, and the doors will have numbers in as part of the 3D printing. So it'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. When one of these turns green, then the players can open this up. We tried to get them to spring open, but it really got complicated because to reset it, you'd have to hold all 5 down at once and then hit reset. And the springs just didn't work out. So players will have to lift them open. There'll be little servos in here that go in this slot that will lock the doors, and then when they do the right thing, the servo will open and unlock the door, and then the players can open it. The query response buttons we're still trying to figure this out. It's a little bit of a challenge. You can't put them here because when this closes, it would smash them. So we might put them here. We might embed them in this thing, or we might build out a panel up here that goes up here, because this lines up with the recess here. So we might put them up here. We're still figuring out the query response buttons. And then I mentioned a light panel. This is what we're thinking is to have on the outside some LED lights behind a white panel, and it's still USB powered. And then when they hold those transparencies up, one of them would be glued on here, and then they could hold up the other ones and see all of them pretty well. If you have Biohazard or To Be a Thief, you know that there's a light up here. You may not know there's actually an outlet right here in your box. If you have a Biohazard or a Thief, you have an outlet just like that. And so what we may do is let you plug in a USB adapter, or we may try to hide it up here, or make a spot for a battery. So that's pretty much where we are. The end of April here, we're thinking we've got a couple more weeks, so maybe the End of May, we'll be ready to ship these guys out. A little bit more design work to do. But yeah, that's what we're thinking. We hope you guys like it. We look forward to hearing your feedback. And certainly if you have questions, feel free to reach out to us. Thanks. Bye.